Hey there, Cancer people. Welcome to my channel. We're going to get into your September 2025 reading. It's general spiritual guidance. So let's go ahead and see what comes up for you. So, the card representing you in the center here is the Nine of Wands. We have the Queen of Pentacles. In the past, we have the Nine of Cups. Future, Eight of Wands. What is above is Eight of Swords. The Sun is the root of this reading. Your emotions, Four of Wands. The environment, the Hermit. Hopes, dreams, and fears, the Moon. And the High Priestess is the advice and the outcome. All right, so starting off with you here in the middle, we have the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands kind of tends to represent resistance. It's kind of like this two steps forward, one step back kind of energy. Like you make all this progress in your inner work or in some aspect of your life, and you feel really good about it. But then there's this sort of resistance that tries to pull you back. It's like you get used to feeling a certain way because you've been conditioned to feel a certain way based on your beliefs and your the momentum of your energy. And then once you start to change that, your subconscious kind of tries to maintain the old way of being. So the past tries to kind of keep you feeling a certain way. So right now, you've been going through a change where maybe you felt something, you felt maybe got a glimpse of like this kind of satisfaction. You got a feeling of, having what it is that you're looking for. But then all of a sudden, it's like the subconscious just kind of tries to drag you back down to your old way of being. So you're dealing with some momentum, but you've probably been doing some kind of inner work. And if this is talking about like a more material situation and not just your energy, like your spiritual energy in general, just use your own intuition there, because obviously this is a general reading. But what is crossing you right now is the Queen of Pentacles, which it's a sense of material satisfaction. And it can sometimes indicate that you have placed too much importance on some material aspect of your life, making you think that you need to have this certain thing in order to feel happy and satisfied. But really, while it seems like something happening in the world makes you feel a certain way, your feelings and the situations you encounter actually sort of co-arise. They show up around the same time. But sometimes it seems like something is making you feel a certain way, but really it's you start to feel a certain way, and then the universe reflects that feeling back to you, and they tend to come up right about the same time. If you pay real close attention, you can sometimes notice that the feeling arises before the situation arises, like just very, slightly. Um, but it's not always noticeable. Um, so I think what you're really coming up against is a belief. There's a certain pattern of thought that is keeping you believing that there's a certain thing you need to have specifically before you can feel satisfied and just happy in the present moment. And while you may feel like consciously you know that that's not actually true, that happiness doesn't come from anything, it's that everything you feel because you give yourself permission to generate that feeling. Whether it's because you've been conditioned from the past, from your childhood, from the culture that you grow up in, whether you've had those feelings conditioned into you, or because you consciously choose them. Um, no matter what it is that you're feeling, you are the one generating the feeling, and the circumstances are just a reflection of the feelings that already exist. And so you're in the future here, you're going to continue working to run down this momentum. Um, One of the ways to do that, which we're kind of skipping ahead here with the High Priestess up in the recommendation spot, um, the High Priestess is silence, hearing your intuition. So I was going to say meditation, but I don't really just mean meditation as in like sitting down in a cushion with your eyes closed and focusing on your breath. That's good too. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But meditation really is just a state of mind. It is something that you can learn to embody at all times. And it's kind of it's what arises naturally when all the momentum in your mind has slowed down and you're just quiet. Um, so if you feel like you are trying if you're putting a lot of effort into something and it just doesn't quite seem to be giving you the satisfaction that you're looking for, this is kind of recommending that you remember that it's not the thing that gives you the satisfaction. It's the satisfaction that comes from stillness, from sensing your own being, learning to use your mind to focus your awareness within yourself, like literally inside your body. And you may notice that when you do that, there are maybe there's certain tensions or pains in your body, probably along the spine somewhere, that kind of tend to always be there. And they don't seem to, for some, the more intense ones, they don't seem to go away no matter how much yoga you do or how many chiropractors you see or how much stretching or whatever you do. That knot, these tensions tend to just always be there. And by focusing your awareness on those things and not running away from them and just allowing that to be there in your awareness, you kind of allow the energy to sort of burn up and turn back into your own. It's like reclaiming your energy. It's like turns it back into your own sort of potential energy. But I think that there's some kind of fear, with the moon here in the hopes, dreams, and fears position. There's something maybe that you are believing about yourself that is not necessarily true, that is causing you to feel fear. And instead of stopping and feeling that fear and allowing it to process and move through you and flow out of you, there's this idea that you need to go and make some specific thing happen. You need to have some specific thing in your life to make that feeling go away. But really, that's just going to lead you to chasing your own tail. And I think on some level, you already know this. Like a lot of what I'm saying here probably isn't really new information for you. Maybe you haven't heard it in that exact context, but intuitively, I think on some level you already know a lot of what I'm saying here. And you're not. While some people really shy away from doing this kind of work, I don't think that you are. I think that you may inherently have, like, that what we're talking about here is what allows you to sort of dance with the universe in a sense, where the universe kind of presents you with pathways forward into what you need to do or what you want to do, and you don't need to go out of your way to try to force things into being. um, so that's just kind of a general overview. We'll kind of pull a few more cards and see on the more immediate level what's going on here. So we haven't really had much indication of any specific situations that you might be running into, because again, this is a general reading. I do offer private readings if you want to get more specific to you individually, but let's just see what else comes up here. All right, so we've got Queen of Swords, Seven of Cups, the Emperor, the Hermit, the Sun, Four of Wands again, the Moon again, and the King of Cups. So on the surface here, maybe, in some cases, again, general reading, this can indicate, when we put both of these together at least, that there's sort of, the Queen of Wands Queen of Swords tends to be sort of harshness. It's either a person or maybe just a situation in general that is kind of harsh. The Queen of Wands doesn't really care about how you feel about what's happening. It's just like this is kind of like it's a for your own good kind of thing, where it can be a sort of harsh, painful situation. And I think maybe for you at this time it could be having to be alone when you don't particularly want to be. Whether that's because you're single and you wish that you could have a relationship, and maybe this last part of the reading was all about that thing that you think you need to have in order to feel satisfied. Maybe that's a relationship for some people. For some people, it might be a certain type of job or a car or a whatever. Um, but the hermit here is kind of like you're maybe put in a position where you really just have to you follow your own light, so to speak. Like you don't really get to have other people to give you reassurance as to what you should be doing or what should be going on, um, or how to get there. And that's kind of backed up here by the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is when there's a lot of different options in your head that you don't really know what the actual outcome of anything that you do might be. Wondering if should I go this way, should I go that way, should I do this, should I do that? Usually, when you're in that situation, and you have there's a bunch of different potential options that you can move towards if you have no idea where to go. Usually the best thing to do is to not do anything, is to just wait if you have the option. Sometimes you're forced to make a snap decision, but if you have the option, the idea is to wait until some kind of illumination comes here with the sun, and wait until one of the choices that you have seems more exciting than the other ones, or maybe just feels more natural to go towards. Uh, and that could mean just waiting for a while. With the high priestess in the earlier part of the reading, it's really I think we're seeing here is that you need to quiet your mind, be still, face the momentum of whatever fears it is that are running through your nervous system that maybe that are stuck in there from maybe something that happened many years ago. Could have been all the way back from childhood. Who knows? Um, and you will find that if you're able to do that, if you're able to just wait it out, not allow the uncertainty to get to you, uh, process out this feeling, this belief you may have about yourself that makes you think you need to have this specific thing in order to be happy, all of a sudden you may find that manifestation. You may begin to just suddenly manifest the right path forward that feels right to you. Again with this Four of Wands, which is like perfect synchronicity. It's when the universe and you are in perfect sync, and you get what you need when you need to have it, and it feels enjoyable and it's fun. And the Emperor here, it's one of my favorite cards, I think. So, I mean, I don't know how well you can see in my kind of crappy camera here, but see, he's kind of holding the world in one hand, and it's got like this glowing cross representing the energy of enlightenment, the solar energy of the Christ. And on the other hand, he's got, sorry, this is not really looking very good in the camera. The other hand, he's got this sort of staff, a scepter with the Ankh on it, this Egyptian symbol for eternal life. And that staff sort of represents his mastery over the natural forces. And it's kind of representing the idea of, the way he's holding the world and sort of driving its direction just based on the energy that he's channeling. It kind of represents this idea that everything that happens within your consciousness. Consciousness is not a thing that emerges from the world. It is a thing that contains the world. Everything is made of consciousness. It's like you are a gigantic invisible bubble and of pure potential, and within that bubble there is a world, and at the center of that world is a person. But it's all ultimately made up of consciousness. Reality is more like a dream than it is anything else. And keeping that in mind, it kind of starts to make sense why, when your feelings, why your vibration, to use a sort of more new agey term, is what determines what happens. The same way that if you go to bed feeling really anxious, you might have dreams where you're in a world where things are happening that reflect anxiety, that make you feel anxious. But it's ultimately all just you. You're not in another world. It is just another projection. Um, And so in the advice slot here, we have the Moon again and the King of Cups. And so the King of Cups is somebody who's like triggerless, who is completely healed emotionally. Nothing that happens causes him to feel that, triggered. When I say triggered, well, I mean, you probably know what I mean generally, but you can usually sense where it's coming from in your body. Like, say, a situation happens that makes you feel anxious or afraid or sad or angry. Usually, if you have the presence of mind, you can pay attention to where in your body that emotion is kind of radiating from. Maybe it'll feel like kind of twitchy, or it'll feel like it's vibrating. It's coming from somewhere. And if you can focus your attention and sorry, I can't speak straight. If you can focus your attention on where that's coming from and just pay attention to it, observe it, don't push it away, don't try to change it, don't try to fix it, just be aware of it. Let the emotions flow through you. You can clear that fear and misperception out of your nervous system. And that energy's got to leave somehow. So you can sometimes have a physical reaction to that. One of the most common ways for emotional energy to leave the body is through tears. So don't shy away from crying if you need to. Sometimes, I mean, it can happen in a lot of ways. Sometimes you can feel shaky. Sometimes it can sometimes manifest as laughter. Can feel like you're getting hot and for no reason. Um, can sometimes have like flu-like symptoms. Maybe you'll suddenly get like a pain in, or like the spot where that emotion is coming from might start to ache for a while. But just know that that's the energy leaving your body. It is the chemical constituent of the belief that you are processing out, leaving your body. Um, Anyways, maybe we'll just go ahead and stop there. So if you want to get a private reading, send me a message. All my info's down below. Thanks for watching. Take care.